Solving rational equations. Okay, so first, here's your tips. You want to make denominators the same on both sides of the equation. So just like when we were adding and subtracting expressions, those denominators have to be the same. Then once they are the same, you can just cross out the denominators because technically they are going to cancel out anyhow. If you cross multiply over the equal sign, they will cancel out. So once they're the same, you can just cross them out. We don't need to worry about the denominators anymore. And then we're going to solve the equation. Now, some of your answers may have two answers, or some of your problems may have two answers because of the quadratic formula or factoring. So that still is going to come into play. So let's look at this first example. We have 4 over x minus 1/4 equals 1 over x. So all of these denominators need to be the same. This denominator needs a 4, this denominator needs an x, and this denominator needs a 4. So we're going to multiply by 4 over 4, by x over x, and by 4 over 4. So up in our numerator, we're going to have 16 over 4x minus x over 4x equals 4 over 4x. Now that your denominators are all the same, we don't have to worry about them anymore. We're going to cross them out. From there, we now have a simple equation. We have 16 minus x equals 4. We need to solve for x. Subtract 4 from both sides. Subtract 16 from both sides. Not 4. Subtract 16 from both sides. Negative x is going to equal negative 12. Divide by negative 1. X is going to equal 12. And that is your answer. Looking at the second example, we have 5 over a squared minus 7a plus 12 equals 1 over a squared minus 7a plus 12 plus 1 over a minus 3. Now, this is a trinomial, this is just a binomial, but remember, two binomials multiplied will give you a trinomial. So let's, just to show you, let's factor that denominator so we know what we need to multiply by. So if we have 5, if we were to factor the denominator, two numbers that multiply to give me 12, but also add to give me negative 7, we're going to have a minus 3 and a minus 4. Negative 3, negative 4 gives me positive 12. Negative 3 minus a negative minus 4 gives me negative 7. So over here we're going to have the same thing. A minus 3, a minus 4. And then we have this. So we already have an a minus 3. And if you can see, we're missing an a minus 4. So we need to multiply this fraction by a minus 4 over a minus 4. So doing that, we're going to have a minus 4 in the numerator since we're multiplying by 1, and in our denominator we'll have a minus 3, a minus 4. Now that all my denominators are the same, we're going to cancel them out. So that's going to leave me with 5 equals 1 plus a minus 4. Combining like terms, 5 equals negative 3 plus a. Adding 3 to both sides, 8 is going to equal a. And that is your final answer there. This next one, we have a 6 and we have a 2m and we technically have a 1. So this 6 is going to need an m. And if that's the case, this 2m is going to need to be a 6m. So we need to multiply by 3 there. And then 6m is going to be my common denominator altogether. So we're going to multiply this by m over m. We're going to multiply this one by 3 over 3. And we're going to multiply this one by 6m over 6m. Distributive property. M squared minus 4m all over 6m plus 3m minus 18 all over 6m equals 6m over 6m. So now, denominators are all the same. Cross them out. We are left with m squared minus 4m plus 3m minus 18 equals 6m. So combining like terms, m squared minus m minus 18 equals 6m. And then we need to get this 6m over here with the rest of these m's. So we're going to subtract 6m from both sides. So we have m squared minus 7m minus 18 equals 0. Now we have either a factoring or a quadratic formula problem. This one's easy to do the quadratic or to factor because we need two numbers that are going to multiply to give me negative 18 and are also going to add to give me negative 7. So we can factor that down. We have negative 18. We're going to have 6 and 3, 9 and 2. 9 and 2 can give me a negative 7 if the 9 is negative. So that means we're going to have m minus 9 times m plus 2, and that's going to equal 0. And remember, when we factor and we solve, we set up our two equations. So m minus 9 is going to equal 0, and m plus 2 is going to equal 0. Adding 9 to both sides, m is going to equal 9. Subtracting 2 from both sides, m is going to equal negative 2. So my two answers, m equals 9, m equals negative 2. And for the last example, we have a 3a to the third in our denominator, a 6a, and a 6a to the third. So this 3a to the third, in order to get to a 6a to the third, is going to need to be multiplied by 2. So 2 over 2. In order to get 6a to be 6a to the third, we need 2 more a's, so we got to multiply by a squared, and that'll give me a to the third. This we can leave alone. So that's going to give me 2 over 6a to the third plus a squared over 6a to the third, and that's going to equal a squared minus 4a plus 3 all over 6a to the third. Denominators, again, are all the same. So we're going to cancel those out. 2 plus a squared equals a squared minus 4a plus 3. Combining like terms, if we subtract a squared from both sides, 2 is going to equal negative 4a plus 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Negative 1 is going to equal negative 4a. And then if we divide by negative 4 on both sides, our answer is going to be 1/4 equals a. And you can have a fraction as your answer. Your homework is a worksheet. Remember, it stays in your notebook. That's it.